Hi everyone, my name is Laurencio, and in this video I'm going to talk about all Crash Bandicoot games for the Sony PSP. The Crash games are in the PSP Essentials category for a reason. They are remarkable PSP games. The first Crash game to be released for the Sony PSP was Crash Tag Team Racing. Some people falsely accuse the game to be a Mario Kart spin-off, but that is not the truth. Only because it has cartoonish racing and you have weapons during the races doesn't mean it's a Mario Kart imitation. Mario Kart lacks free roam, it lacks race modes that Crash has, and has many more things that it lacks and are different than the Crash Tag Team Racing game. They are two different games. Crash Tag Team Racing begins with the presentation of the plot. You are in an amusement park and have to race to get back Von Clutch's crystals. The story is not the strongest, but it has the specific humor of Crash games that makes it enjoyable. In the game you have an entire amusement park to roam. You move to each section in order to play which race you want. And as an amusement park, you get multiple teams to choose from. You can play the pirate levels, the Egyptian levels, levels that remind you of a sci-fi movie, and more. The game has many different settings, so you won't get bored seeing the same scenery again and again. And before getting into a race, you have to platform in the amusement park to get into the race menu. Also, there are more things to do than just racing. For example, you can try to unlock as many Crash Dash scenarios as possible. They are incredibly fun to watch and are worth collecting. Also, you can get more outfits for the character. You can make Crash look like Indiana Jones or a skeleton and so on. When you get to the race entrance of the level, you are prompted with multiple race types you can do. So you have normal races, Crashinator, fast lap, run and gun, and also aside from this you have battle arenas and stunt arenas. In the normal races you can either win alone or you can merge your car with an opponent and then one of you drives and the other one guns down the opponents. And if you win with your cars merged, you still get the win. It's an original idea that sticks very well and it gives you a lot of fun. And it's also original, not a Mario Kart imitation. Also you can bomb your enemies by throwing chicken at them, or sharks, or by dropping a piano on them, or a submarine. You can also eliminate them with a turret gun. In the Crashinator mode you have to hit targets on the road, and in the Rolling Thunder mode you have to gun down your opponents. In Run and Gun you don't gun down opponents this time, but targets, or planes in some levels or other objects. But the mode is fun. In Fast Lap, you guessed it, you race against the clock. In Stunt Arenas you have to accumulate as many style points as possible. They are fun because you can control your vehicle movement in the air and you can end up pulling nice feeling jumps on those ramps. In Battle Arenas you can either drive or shoot, and the video is self-explanatory on how and what you have to do. As for characters, you have Crash, Dr. Neo Cortex, Pasadena, Crunch, Coco, Nina, Engine, and Von Clutch. Also, each character has multiple vehicles you can choose from. And another amazing detail is that for each character there are multiple outfits you can buy and dress them up in. Crash has 10 outfits and the rest have only 2 to choose from, but that it's still an impressive detail and adds to the huge amount of details this handheld console handles like a charm. The frame rate is smooth, without lags or stutters, and the controls are responsive and feel right. You know from the start which button does what out of instinct. Also, this game has minigames as well, so there are tons of content in the game. Sure, the minigames, even though plenty, are around the same two types, meaning you get bowling minigames and target shooting minigames. The minigames are fun though, and I recommend you try some. The level designs are nice looking and bright, and just nice to look at. Also, the graphics are very good for a PSP game. In conclusion, I definitely recommend you the game, as it has nice graphics, nice gameplay, and it's packed with a ton of humor. Now for the next two games, Crash of the Titans and Crash Mind Over Mutant, I am going to speak in general about both of them first, because there are many similarities in gameplay, and then I am going to speak about each one of them and what makes it unique. In the background of the video, you will see what game it is in the video caption. Both games feature some incredible gameplay. It is smooth, it feasts the eye with its bright and colorful graphics, the level designs are nice and detailed enough, and the controls are responsive. Even though the details might be many times smudgy, meaning the levels or the character models are smudgy, the game still looks pretty good. In both games, in combat, you have to beat one creature and control its mind. And it's nice that with a smaller creature you can defeat a bigger one and then move to the other one. And then so on, from one to the next, from bigger to even bigger. It's nice to switch them, and it's nice that you don't lose life if you get hit while controlling another creature. You get damaged only if you play with Crash. Creatures are plenty in both games, and some look cool and others are fun, like for example the farting space squirrels. Also, both games feature tons of humors and are delightful to play. And the game formula is good, even though repetitive. I mean, I never felt it to be repetitive. Only now that I'm trying to explain the game, it sounds to be repetitive, but it does not feel like that. New monsters appear at regular intervals, new locations too. The story is interesting. You never feel bored in these two games. Also, considering that these two games are ports, they look and behave nicely. They are great ports that have the fun of the big versions in them. In Mind Over Mutant, the graphics look improved from the previous game, Crash of the Titans. Even though you have free roam, it's kind of annoying, because it's not your classical free roam. The stages are linear, but you get to choose at crossroads where you want to go, and you will get to go back and forth a lot. Also, another improvement that came in Mind Over Mutant that Crash of the Titans lacked is the presence of shadows. Now you have shadows on your main character, on other characters, and even when your character is not on the screen, his shadow projects behind the wall, so you can see where you are. In conclusion, these two games are a must-play for the PSP. Their gameplay is fun and varied, the story has a lot of humor, and it will give you hours of fun for sure, like it did for me.